welcome to another episode of Connections. Today we will be speaking to the wonderful Rodney Earl Clarke. Hi, Rodney.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very well. How are you?
I'm very warm today. The weather's changing, which is just what we need.
Yeah, to bring a little sunshine from being cooped up. Are you guys in complete lockdown where you are?
We're in complete lockdown, yeah, but we're nearly getting there. We're nearly getting there.
So I have to ask you. Obviously, we're going to talk about your career today, but one of the great things is you have this exciting new single, Mantra, coming out.
That's right.
Now, I see a mic. Did you record from home or?
No.
Okay.
I recorded this, although I could have, but I didn't. I recorded this last year, and when we could move around, and it was a pretty much a reaction to what happened with George Floyd, to be honest, and we were also looking for a way of finishing off a much larger piece, which this song comes from, and we didn't know where to put it, or we didn't know how to finish the big piece, and it turned out to be the perfect ending to the work called Voices for Reconciliation.
And you're working with two special composers. I believe you worked with them before.
That's right, yeah. Tony and Gaynor Sadler, and a fantastic award-winning composing duo, and a husband and wife, and they work so well together, and I've known them for many years, and excuse me, and it was just another one of those great opportunities for me to collaborate with them on such an important project.
And what is that like? Because I mean, obviously, there's all these songs we do, which are, lovely. But I think music throughout time, we kind of see the composers wrote, they sometimes had very real issues they were dealing with. So these songs are very current. They're what's happening in our world right now. So how did that come about where you guys were, you were able to put this together and really wanting to speak out to these issues?
Well, I think the whole project is focused around the need for reconciliation, and the need for really for us all to kind of get a greater understanding for each other, and what it looks at. The piece Voices for Reconciliation is really a requiem for our time. It looks at past conflicts. It deals with the Requiem Mass, and it fuses in a mixture of musical styles which are there to represent a diverse musical culture, as it were, and also that idea that we're all trying to celebrate our identity, whether we are black, white, Asian, gay, straight, trans, the whole lot. We need to get a better understanding as to how people arrive at those points in their life, how they overcame their challenges and their struggles, and what better way to share those things is through the power of music.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, there's major things that we need to work on as a society. But when it comes to the music industry, would you say that there's any areas that you would like to see continue to follow more on this path to reconciliation and celebrating the diversity there?
Well, I'm acutely aware of, especially in the classical and the classical crossover industry, that certainly here in the United Kingdom, the representation needs to be improved on, and also the opportunity really to showcase the excellence that we have within the community, within the Black community, and I feel very fortunate and lucky to be in the position that I'm in now, but I do know that I am one of many people who have immense talent, but really need the the system to change to allow them to break through to the fore.
So let's go, if we can, all the way back now. This is my favorite thing to do. So you actually started out your journey as a voice singer in a choir. Is that right?
That's right. I was a choir boy, as they call it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that was age 7, but I was singing before that, though. I was singing
Okay.
before that. Yeah.
So were you singing in church before, and then you kind of got into the whole choir boy?
Yeah, well, in primary school, I sang lots in
Mhm.
school assemblies and so forth, and actually went to an all boys primary school, and I had the fortunate experience to be cast as the Virgin Mary in the nativity play, because I was the only one who could kind of sing the those particular songs, and no, it was quite a unique moment for me, and I kind of realised that my singing voice was gonna play kind of a significant part in my life, and
Mhm.
my time at St George's Cathedral in Southwark in southeast London, amazing time there. I was a chorister from the age of 7, and one of the things that struck me about being part of that choir was that sense of camaraderie, the sense of team, being part of a team, and also the immense experience and exposure you get to performing in front of a large congregation, because it was the head of the diocese, and so
Mhm.
we had quite a lot of holy days and what they're called days of oh goodness, I'm gonna get struck down now. Holy days of obligation, whatever we call it. I'll get the phrase right, but it was a really great time, because as I said there, we learnt a lot by ear
Mhm.
then, and learning to sing church music, for me, I found was a particularly great way of setting the foundation for what was to come.
Now, do you find it seems like a lot of young boys are so talented, and then when they go through that voice change period, they kind of leave off because it is an awkward time. So, how was that for you? You went from seeing the Virgin Mary, you must have had quite a high range, and
Yeah,
then you've gone all the way down.
yeah. Well, I up there already. See, I'm reminiscing. No, I am. It's just a dry cough, nothing serious.
No, you're right.
No, I am. No, I was actually head chorister, so I sang, the top line in the Allegro Miserere, the high C. Was it? Yeah, yeah, high C, and that was, you really felt kind of, captain of the ship, as it were, or at least captain of the trebles. But my voice broke and settled over a summer, and it was, but it was tough, because you suddenly have this sense of losing control over what you've been used to being able to do for many many years. But I wasn't. I was quite fortunate, because quite a lot of the other trebles were losing their voices at the same time, and so we could go through it together and do that transition. So yeah.
And then, did you go right from being the choir? Then you went to the was it the Royal Academy of Music?
Well, no, so my voice broke, and then I became a kind of a tenor, baritone,
Okay.
kind of thing, and then settled as a bass, and had a couple of lessons with a gentleman who used to sing in the English National Opera Chorus, and then it wasn't really until I did my GCSEs, and that's the sorry, my A levels, the last set of exams in high school, in secondary school, that I was given the opportunity to perform the bass solo in Handel's Messiah, and something that was normally reserved for the teachers, for the staff. So there I was out the front with my friend in the back in the choir, and me age 16, 17, singing the bass solos. And I think for me that was
Amazing.
a real special moment, to be sharing the stage with my English teacher and the science teacher, and other people and other teachers, members of staff rather. And from that, actually, I got a lot of. I was really fortunate to get a lot of attention and inquiries to do local choral society jobs, oratorios. So I sang the likes, more the Messiah, Mozart Requiem, Elijah. I sang Elijah, age 19. Crazy. Um, but but I kind of didn't know any better, and I was having a good time whilst I was doing it. So it was a a baptism of fire, I would call it.
So when you went into the university, then you had your Fox pretty much set at that point, and you had some roles under your belt because some of the orators are not really. No, okay.
No, 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 no.
There's a
So,
story there.
so when I started the Royal Academy of Music, I turned up, and I'll never forget. You know, I knew nothing. All I knew was I have a voice and I can sing, and I love acting, and I want to combine the two. And so I set about doing. I started a course at the academy, and I remember being given the weekly schedule, and it has like English song, French song, and I'm going, oh gosh, wow, this is. I'm going to need to play catch up. So I spent quite a lot of my time in the listening library, and I loved it there. I listened to so much music. I just kind of caught up and really immersed myself in quite a wide range of repertoire. And it wasn't until my third year when you start to specialize in opera, and we did small opera scenes, when I felt that okay, maybe this might be an avenue that I could pursue. But really, and still until today, my passion is in performance and entertainment.
So what music were you then? You said like you were paying catch up. I did the same thing when I went to college. I didn't know as much about the art song repertoire. Um, but what music did you grow up with? Because I know throughout your career you've had quite a lot of Gershwin. So what kind of music were you really passionate about when you first
Yeah,
started?
well, we can talk about the reason why I have quite a lot of Gershwin later. But
Okay.
when I was growing up, there's a lot of Stevie Wonder in the house, Michael Jackson, Isaac Hayes, even Queen. And my parents had a couple of albums, couple of LPs of the Bach Passions. And so there I was listening to this music at a very early age, and somehow it's kind of trickling down into my brain. And so I listened a lot to that. Also, I had these when I was even younger. I had these talking tapes, audio books, and the backing track, the underlay, was always classical music.
Mhm.
Whether it was, which I subsequently learned, it was Vivaldi Four Seasons, Beethoven Fifth. What else there was? There's some Mendelssohn in there. So I had always been kind of wrapped up in, quite literally wrapped up in, and surrounded by classical music.
Yeah. I think here, I don't know if the Bugs Bunny things, I guess that's an international thing, but like for the kids, the cartoons, they used to have quite a lot of classical music in the background too. I don't think so much
Yeah,
anymore, but
yeah,
which is really great actually, just a way to introduce kids early on.
exactly. Yeah.
So once you left college, what was one of your main roles? I saw you did like on the town, or did like how did.
Well, when I left college, I left slightly early because I was fortunate enough to be offered the role of Figaro in The Marriage of Figaro for English touring opera, and that was again a real lesson in how to tour, in how to look after yourself, and how to do your own makeup, get yourself dressed, etc., and pace yourself, to build up your stamina, and again, playing the title role in an opera at that age, it was something that I didn't I appreciated, and very thankful for the opportunity. And I was also part of Glyndebourne's festival chorus, the Glyndebourne chorus, and that's kind of the polar opposite in terms of experience, because with English touring opera you're doing really earthy theaters, smell, the whole kind of, there's nothing, there's no frills. It's very kind of as it is. This is true theater, the backstage and stuff. And whereas Glyndebourne was the complete opposite. It was like the Rolls Royce, and I had my own costume fitting for a chorus outfit, and at
Oh
that
wow.
time I thought, wow. And so I had those two experiences, and both of them I've drawn a lot of tips from both of them. Being able to share the stage and watch some amazing singers making their their role debuts, and you're in the wings watching. I remember watching Rolando Villazon into the Sinking Man. This guy's absolutely amazing. His breathtaking. And then a couple of months later, you see him performing at the Met and everything. You go,
Yeah.
ah. So yeah, that was my the early days after the academy, and then I was one of my perhaps favourite times was working with Birmingham Opera Company with Graham Vick, and he has this marvellous way of taking opera out of the theatre and putting it amongst the people, performing in unusual venues, performing in venues where the audience can promenade and experience opera in a different way and be part of it, be intrinsically part of the opera. And I played Giovanni. I played Tartarol in Don Giovanni for him, and I also did some Monteverdi pieces, Monteverdi operas, and I had also a really fruitful time working with the youngsters in the community, because several evenings we would kind of take groups and kind of immerse them in opera, and also finding out what it is that they like to do, whether it's street dancing, and how we can incorporate their street dancing in the actual production. So it's a great experience.
I think that's so great when people work. I remember, I think this is one of my voice teachers mentioned, like going and just making the kids sing funny things, like, Taco Bell order, but making them start to like learn to sing it in a classical way just to get them, involved. I love when we can do that with younger children.
Yeah,
Now you have, in addition to all your performing, you've also done some work acting, because you mentioned you'd like to do both of them. So you were in the film version of The Magic Flute.
that's right. Kenneth Branagh's film adaptation of the Magic Flute, and again, to be able to express myself in that way and be able to work with the likes of Kenneth Branagh, one of his other amazing actors and performers, I had to pinch myself. Another one of those fantastic experiences, and also it's what I found really interesting was, because Kenneth Branagh isn't an actor himself, but he was a director's actor, and the way he was directing the actors, he knew he could empathize with how the actors are, and I really appreciated that, because you felt that you could kind of talk to him about anything, and he was very keen to kind of hold your hand throughout the process.
And did you go from that to presenting? Because you presented, I think it's like for some of the proms events, I've seen you presenting.
Yeah, no. So I along the way been asked to give my opinion on performances, and like, as a pundit, and also I was there's one year where the BBC were trying to improve their coverage of the proms by using performers to present the proms as well, and so that's where I came in, and I presented alongside one of the household presenters, Susie Klein. I presented a prom which had the Halle Orchestra, and I think they're doing a Beethoven Eroica symphony. That was another fantastic experience.
And when did you start recording? Because your album was called, let me just, it's Quest,
Glorious Quest.
Glorious Quest. I have my notes here, but I can't read without my
That's
glasses.
right. That's okay.
So, and this album was just, I mean, you have, I would say, like a singer's voice, like it's just this glorious big instrument, and you sound so fantastic doing all these wonderful, like, oh, what a beautiful morning, all these old, like kind of legitimate Broadway songs. So how did that come about? Did you always want to do recording as well, or?
No, well. Look, I mean, I think most singers would like to kind of have the chance to have their voice set in stone, or in on in history, whichever way. But what happened with me was I was I was performing at an opera in Europe, and I started to have vocal problems. into, and I didn't kind of know what was happening. And as it transpired, I had reflux, which is a huge, huge, huge thing. And we could talk about that, loads. But that really affected me, because if you imagine age 24 going, getting all this, and then suddenly, doop, this thing, and it affected me quite a lot. And the power of the voice, etc. But it's all fine now, obviously. But at the time, I was needing a boost and needing to know what else I could kind of do, and
Mhm.
could I get by doing certain things. And then that's when I was watching a final dress rehearsal at the Royal Opera House. That's right. And afterwards, a gentleman came out to me and introduced himself and said, "Hi, there's a certain conductor's trying to get hold of you because he's doing a production. He's doing a prom at the BBC, and he really wants. He's heard what you do. You think?" And I said, "Oh, okay, whatever." Anyway, so I took the bull by the horns and sought him out, and that gentleman turned out to be John Wilson, and his orchestra, the John Wilson Orchestra, and he invited me to sing in one of the proms, the Broadway Sound Prom. And so that kind of whet my appetite, and then with the response I was getting from that, from everybody saying, "Look, you sing that stuff really well. It suits your voice down to a T. Please pursue it. You should look at these roles." And so I did. And then I wanted to get something down on disc, and thought about, well, what could I do? I could do spirituals, I could do Handel, I could do Mozart arias. But look, no, I'm going to do the thing that is going to be a true representation of where I am now, and the pivot for me. And that's why I chose kind of 1940s to 1960s
Mhm.
Broadway, and what I call what is known as the golden age. And I collaborated with pianist Christopher Gould, and we sat down and recorded it, and it was such good fun, and really nice music, as we all know.
And I actually love it because obviously having a big orchestra is fabulous, but I love when it's stripped back and you can just kind of hear a singer and the piano, and it's so pure, and I really enjoyed the format of that.
Thank you.
So from that, is that when the Gershwin, because you said we'd come back to Gershwin. So
Well,
is
I
that
mean,
when
no, look, I'll put a fine up on it. The One of the things that, in relation to your earlier question, your earlier question of representation in the industry, obviously the Porgy and Bess train came along for me, and it was a wonderful opportunity. I performed in Opera Lyon, and once you are known for singing that repertoire, other doors start to open up. But obviously for me, it was the two things, they married each other. The fact that I like singing the Broadway music, and obviously Gershwin composes this kind of music as well. So it was kind of a match made in heaven. I hate that, but you know what I mean. And I went on to perform Porgy and Bess many, many times. I performed it with Sir Simon Rattle, with the Bernard Phil, the role of Jake, and I even recorded it with Sir Nicholas Harnoncourt. And it's been an opera, and the two roles that I performed in it have been good to me over the years.
and another thing that you guys have, I used to listen to it. Friday night is music night. So
Hmm.
tell it for the US fans, tell us kind of a little bit about that and your involvement with, were you doing productions on it or concerts?
Right. So Friday night is music night. Friday night is music night is a kind of an institution for the BBC Radio 2, and it encompasses. It's almost like a variety show,
Mm.
where we get to kind of sample a wide range of music, an eclectic mix of music, and with singers and the BBC Concert Orchestra. And I've been again. Selected because of my versatility, because it requires you to not only sing classical music but pop songs as well. It's quite a wide range, and I have a really lovely time performing alongside the likes of Michael Ball and Hannah Waddingham, and who else? Goodness me, I can't remember. But it's a great. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
And so I think right before lockdown, you had started doing Les Mis, or is my timing off?
No,
That's right. Okay.
that's correct. That's correct. Yeah, we so I started rehearsing for the brand new production of Les Miserables on the West End in London, and we got a bit of a way in, but then lockdown came. So, but truthfully, it was a welcome rest because the see again that's part of my whole like my motto is just to kind of try and put and rise to challenges. Just put yourself out there, but keep your musical and vocal integrity intact, and see what you can do. And hence, the shift from opera to musicals, because I thought, well, look, this is a nice opportunity for me to lend my voice to musical theatre. And also, I just love the you mentioned earlier briefly about On the Town, and I did an English National Opera, and the sense of company that you get in musical theatre is something. Oh, hello! Is really wonderful. Is really really wonderful, and something that I was keen to kind of be part of. It's okay. You can take yourself off mute.
Oh, sorry about that. My dog
That's
just came
okay.
in. She ran it. So we might edit that bit out there.
What's her name? What's her name?
Lily.
Lily. Oh,
Something we've got
cute.
used to over Zoom calls in quarantine, right? It's like the kids and the dog. So sorry
Oh
about
dear.
that there.
That's okay.
So you were saying with doing that role, obviously that's a lot vocally to ask. So was that like a hard thing to be doing that many shows?
Well, I worked up. I paid the Bishop of Dean, and uh, I just paced myself. But it's grueling. It is grueling, but it is fun. It's grueling and fun. And one of the curious things is I like to listen to the musical theatre guy saying, "Oh, you should do opera. You're so lucky. You get paid more, etc. Whatever it is." And then me going, "Oh, gosh, this is so nice. The company is so nice, and the pay is regular." You know, it's like this constant. The grass is always greener, kind
Yeah.
of feel. But I'm really lucky to be. We have a great company. Everyone's in it for the piece, and it's just sad that we're not on the boards, treading the boards currently, but we'll be back soon.
Yeah. So during lockdown, one of you, I've seen it, I think a collaboration with Wendy Carr, who's another person we featured before.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. I've been keeping busy. I've been utilizing the recording setup here, and like everyone else has, and seeing what we can do. The name of the game is to keep creating, keep collaborating. So I did a bit of Phantom with Wendy. I even did. Released another single with Georgie Mottram called "Letters from Home."
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and what else? Voiceover work, and just like everyone else is doing. No different.
Now you've done quite a few collaborations. Even before this, you were part of Williams and Clark, and you are also in a collaboration with a lovely violinist. So what are some of your favorite parts of having those groups where you get to have that other partner on stage?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's all part of that the collaboration and the what can you come up with that is going to be new, fresh, interesting, and it's going to give the audience that opportunity to hear songs that are popular, but performed in a different way. So, for example, with Julius Williams, we were looking at the combination of our voice types. We were looking at the various repertoire that we could kind of look into. Also, with Enro, the violin and the voice. It hadn't been done that much before. We had a good look around and we just thought, let's see how far this gets. And we had such a great time doing it.
So Mantra is obviously coming out. That's your latest project. You thinking of doing another album or?
Oh yes, I mean I'm always thinking of things to record, but I think it's really important for it not just to be like a vanity project. I want to find I want to find the right subject matter. There's lots that I could do, and right now I'm very much looking forward to the full to releasing the full album of Voices for Reconciliation, in which I feature in throughout the whole lot, because they're the four singers and we're all in it, and it's I'll be there'll be a lot of work to be done this year. Just put it that way.
Well, we'll be excited to hear that. And hopefully just to keep hearing you solo singing as well. Do you have any dream roles before I let you go? You mentioned doing a little bit of Phantom with Wendy. Is that maybe a role you'd like to do?
Yeah, I mean it's I mean I would like to do it all, but we can't do it all.
Of course.
But what I would say is I would rather be interested in framing it like, wouldn't it be great if the producers and the casting directors could feel that they have license to be more dynamic and daring in how they cast, and give the audience something different, something new, something unexpected. That's the way I would be framing it, because I know what I possess. I know what my vocal skill set is, and I'm very happy and very open to embrace those invitations from these producers, because I think we could have a really good time.
Yeah, so it's about them actually giving the opportunities. And then,
Yeah, and it's giving the opportunity and feeling and being brave, and not necessarily feeling like they have to stay in a certain lane because for fear of losing an audience. I mean, for example, when the new production of Les Mis was announced, there's a big hoo ha about Revolve. No Revolve, no Revolve, and that's it's been there from the beginning. But Cameron McIntosh and the team were very, very keen to move it into the 21st century, and very brave, and so they removed that. And what that gave way was a whole other look and feel to the musical. And every night we perform it, without fail, the audience is on their feet. They are cheering. So the audience is hungry for change, and hungry to be surprised.
yeah, I think that's true, and it's quite funny because sometimes people want to cast something. It's like according to historical or whatever, but um, musicals are they're quite fantastical because we're not bursting into song, so we really don't have to stick to any specific kind of person for a role, because it can be anything that we want it to be, if like you're saying, if people have the bravery to just make new choices.
Yes, I mean, as long as you have an actor who is capable of delivering playing the character, and doing justice to the character and telling the story, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So yeah, bring it on.
Awesome. So please let us know when Mantra is coming out.
So Mantra is out on the 12th of March and available for pre-order on the 9th of March.
And the full album of the Requiem.
The full album of Voices for Reconciliation will be out later this year, and I can keep we can reconvene and we can chat more about that, and I can kind of give you more information about that in due course.
Yes, absolutely. And we're actually hoping to do kind of like a live new releases chat. So
Good,
we'll definitely have you on again
good,
once
good,
we get all our ducks in a row over here.
good,
It
good.
has been such a pleasure to speak to you.
You too, you too. And you mentioned snow, did you?
Yes,
Snowing. Well, hope it doesn't snow too much. And no, I am rubbing it in because we had our fair share of snow here, but the sun is out and it's spring is on its way. So
So yeah, enjoy.
very happy.
I'll stay cooped up in, but you get some sun.
Oh.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please stay tuned for more wonderful interviews to come, and we'll be having our big classical crossover community concert March 28th right here on this channel. So for your ticket, just go ahead, hit subscribe, and we'd also hope that you check out all the artists and go ahead and like their channels as well, as a way to say thank you for the wonderful talents that they're sharing with us. So we look forward to seeing you guys next week.